Hey everyone, welcome back to Starseed Dispatch. My name is Sarah C. Boy, do I have a lot to share with you. I've been having a whole lot of experiences. I want to give you a little bit of a quick backdrop, but not before I tell you about this awesome drink that I'm drinking. No, this is not a plug and we're not being sponsored by them, but when I like something, I talk about it. This is called Moment Botanical Soda. It's blackberry lavender flavor. It's got 0 sugar. Drink your meditation. Since I quit drinking energy drinks, which was very hard for me to break that habit, but it was hurting me physically, I discovered these type of calm, clarity, vitality drinks, rejuvenation drinks, mood drinks. I get a whole variety of different ones, and this is one of my favorites. And it has adaptogens to increase alpha brainwaves, just like meditation. It has ashwagandha, an ancient herb to calm you. L-theanine, which is green tea's secret for clear minds. And lavender, a fragrant herb for vitality. And because blackberry just tastes good. And it does a bunch of stuff too, and I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because it's been a great replacement. I feel great when I drink them, and that's that. So you're welcome to look into those. You can find me over at Pagan Homesteading, where I am a neurospicy pagan witch on her Seiðr path. And I also have a small homestead, which is growing as my lifestyle grows every single day, learning new things and becoming more holistic and organic with the things I do. It is a very slow process. It takes time and knowledge and learning about the things that you're doing and trial and error. So for the last 4 years, I've been trial and erroring it, and it's getting better. So go ahead and hop on over there to Pagan Homesteading. Check out my videos, like, subscribe. I do all kinds of things. I craft, I garden, I do things around my house. I make teas, in process of making tinctures. I travel a lot. So I also put a lot of my travel videos up, my experiences about where I've been. And a lot of the time, my travel experiences are bringing me to these places for a specific reason, which sometimes has to do with deity. But lately, over the last few years, it's been more cosmic, more galactic. I lived in Florida for a while, and I had horrible travesties happen before I married my current husband. It was a major shift in my life. And although I have been an intuitive, a clairvoyant, a medium, I've seen spirits and dead people since I was 4. I have a lot of history and background in it. I took time throughout my years. I'm now in my 50s. But over the years, I took my time to check and double check, we'll say. Is this the right path for me? You know, witchcraft, paganism, loving the earth, working with the earth, the moon and the stars and astrology and all that just mesh so well into my being and who I felt comfortable being when I was practicing. So there was that, but, there was humanity and what was socially correct and what I was being fed by media, by people, by old traditions, So I went on a journey. I looked into several different things, including Baptist Christian. Ask me why I did that. I poked too many holes in the stories and what I've seen and what I believed in my heart wholeheartedly. So it was an experience I had to have. And after that, I knew for sure that I was a child of the earth, a child of the stars. And that's where I stayed. But I didn't dive deep into it like many of you do because it was very taboo. A select few people knew what I was about and the things I did, but it wasn't something that you really talked about. And I envied the people that were so open and ready to share their experiences. And it took me a long time to get to this place. So in Florida, I had another horrible travesty in my life. And it was a major life shift. Major. I'm not here for anybody to feel sorry for me. It's stuff I had to experience. And the reason that I kept experiencing these things is because I was not answering my call. I was called upon many times in the last 50 years. Many, many times. Very confused about what was what. Hard to find people to talk to that I trusted, Was the weird kid. You can ask my classmates. I was the weird kid. After Florida, or, at the end of Florida, my soon-to-be third husband, because my second one had passed away, we moved up to South Carolina. He got a job relocation and base of operations type thing, so we moved up here. Now, after the travesty of the second husband happened, I discovered something very painful, and that was half of the people that were around me during that period of time just fell off. They either didn't like me for some reason or another, and that's fine, or they were just there for that time. They were just acquaintances. I had to learn lessons from these people. Only a few stuck around, a very, very few from that period in Florida. And I'm grateful for each and every one of those people. It was a painful lesson on who to trust and who were really your peeps, or who were really my peeps. But that's one of the things that they say is when you start to awaken, it's usually something that's totally traumatic, that shifts you into the next chapter, the change, whatever's going to happen. Moving up here, not knowing anyone, and it was pretty interesting after we got here. I was kind of looking forward to a fresh start, I, again, had no friends. I knew nobody up here. It was just me and my husband and my dad, because he came with us. And people just started popping into my life. I wasn't looking to make friends. I was enjoying my solitude and becoming who I thought I should be. I was putting into motion the wheels of everything that I had drawn, every prophecy that seemed to be going right or going the way I envisioned it, every premonition, every card pull. A lot of it didn't make sense and I didn't understand, and now I do. I started on my Seiðr path. So for you witches out there, pagan, Wiccan, whatever, all of the witches, I don't judge. It's whatever's right for you, whatever path is good for you. You need to follow what's good in your heart, not what people are telling you to do or what's socially acceptable. I'm sorry, that's not how you raise the vibration or the energy level in the universe. Be you, and if you are going to follow a leader that shadows or mirrors you, what you feel inside, not because it looks good. I mean, if you try something and it's just not for you, we'll move along. You know how many things I did that with? Until I found where I belong, and I belong here. Wherever that is. I started meeting people that were like me. It's like they were put in my path. It was kind of crazy. And it just kept going like that. So, I still have a handful of friends and I talk to a lot of people, but I am not like active on Starseed sites. I'm not active on pagan sites. I'm a little bit of a lone witch, a little bit of a lone Starseed trying to figure things out. Having ADHD and PTSD and trauma and stuff like that for, what I lived the last 50 years is some of why that goes on. If you feel that calling, I know how hard it is to make a drastic change. But let me express, making that drastic change in your life when you hear that calling and you just don't belong here anymore, you don't belong doing this, and I'm not talking about bad things, I'm talking about making changes in your life, who you hang around with, what you do, what kind of life do you have? Is your job fulfilling? What are you doing that is soulfully fulfilling for yourself? Those were things I had to think about. It's hard to break free from that. And they want to keep us stupid. They want to keep us controlled. Who's they? They are the powers that be. And there's a whole lot of them, so I can't just name one. Those other starseeds out here know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me touch upon a subject, because I assume, and I'm comfortable saying that I believe that I've been having galactic, cosmic, parallel, all kinds of different experiences my whole life and not remembering them or remembering bits and pieces of them. So I think about a year ago, what was happening is that I was waking up at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, not being able to sleep. So I'd sit and I'd meditate. I'd read cards because I was doing tarot cards at the time. I'd get this buzzing in my ear, not like a pitch. It was like a higher pitch. You know, I really didn't make much of it until it started getting really loud. I'd put my headphones in, and I'd sit and I'd meditate and see whatever messages come to me, working with my deities and stuff like that. Well, one day I start getting this ringing and I'm thinking, okay, it must be the earbuds or maybe it's the phone or the music I'm playing, blah, blah, blah. So I turn the music off. Still have my earbuds in and I'm still hearing that high pitched, but I can't even, and the white noise. Yeah, I have that constantly. I have it now talking to you. It got so loud that I had to rip the earbud out of my ear. It didn't stop. It got louder. I was banging my ear like this was crazy. I'm sitting at my altar and I'm like, trying to do my things and I don't know what's going on. It was really freaky. I couldn't understand it. They come in tones similar to Morse code. And no, I don't know Morse code. I don't want to learn it either because then I feel like it's compromising to what I'm doing. If I know how to do it, then, well, maybe that's going to alter what I'm writing freely, so I don't want to learn. I figure it out through different apps, Morse code apps, and get it that way and through extra downloads that I get from the cosmos. So that started happening and I talked to my husband and my husband says, don't pay attention to how high or low the pitch is, but the breaks, how many of them, how long are they? Long or short, he said. So I started doing that and I started getting messages. So here I am today, about a year later. I took a little break from it. I had a lot of personal stuff going on. It was a little bit nutty and I was traveling and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't answer my call again. It's always hurry up and do this and hurry up and do that. You're running out of time, Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of this awesome drink. I had met some people through different channels and social media, chat rooms, stuff like that. I was trying to, be more social and see if there's other people out there like me. So I was doing that. And I met people that I had lived past lives with. I was starting to have dreams and be directed to watching certain things, getting little clips of past lives. So that went on for a little while, and then Starseed stuff started happening. It was like boom, boom, one after another. I often feel that I am living in different parallels, Like I'm sitting here talking to you, but I feel like I still got one foot out somewhere else, I'm grounded, don't get me wrong. At that point, I started meeting more and more people that were Starseeds. I started talking about my experiences. And even before I started having the Starseed experiences the way I'm having them now, in the beginning, I would have dreams. And it's hard for me to remember dreams, so I would write them down or put it in my phone. And one of my earliest ones was I was on some kind of planet. I think I was in between jobs, if you will. I am a multitasker. I worked between dimensions and stars and planets. Apparently, I have been around 86 times. I wanted to come back as a human for whatever reason. I didn't get it right. And I always pick the complex ones. So one of the earlier experiences I had as a starseed, when I was coming into my own, when I was awakening and getting more messages and signals, was a dream I had that I was on a dirt planet of some sort. The soil or earth was like a burnt orange color, kind of like the clay soil we have here in South Carolina. They call it red clay. It was like that. There were big stadium lights all around. I didn't know where I was or why I was there. They were very bright and they were very big speakers. Walking up to me was an individual that was bald and pale in skin, almost opaque, like resembled a human man. And he wore a blue mechanic suit, kind of like a jumpsuit, dark navy blue, dark boots, looked just like a human with no hair. He didn't say anything with his mouth. He spoke with telepathy. And I know I wrote it down somewhere. I can't exactly remember what he had said to me. But I found out later on, after that dream, I have to get back to that experience and do a video on that. But after that experience, I had figured out, doing a lot of journeying and research and stuff like that on my star history and my pathway, and where I started out with the Anunnakis and stuff like that. I figured out that was a place of rest where I was. So, just because I'm doing things in the human life doesn't mean I'm not doing things in other lifetimes, in the past and the future, on different planets. You talk about the galactic wars. I've been a part of those things for many, many lifetimes. It's like a jump around, and I do things in layers. So I'm doing this here, but I'm also somewhere else doing something else when I'm sleeping, or, I'm still trying to figure out how all this works. But it was like it was coming back from a job, and I was exhausted. So, and your soul gets exhausted from all of that hard living that you chose to live because of lessons you still needed to learn, and that was my experience. So yeah, it was time for me to rejuvenate. The big lights were lights to energize my soul, like crystalline lights, and they had the big speakers, and that's kind of how I thought I was hearing them talk. But also, I believe it was a frequency to heal, So there was that. I never went back there again, but I did meet that guy again. Just saying. So I went on a Starseed journey one day in my living room, laying on my couch. It was pretty great. And I started in doing a journey like I was meeting with my deities, and for me, it's like, okay, well, this is a long path with a fork in the road, and Odin and Freya always meets me in the middle, and I got my wolf family over here, and the dark road over here. The dark road leads to Yggdrasil and the star beings and everything that's not on the regular path. So the first time I went down that path, it was dark. I could see like purple lights way in the distance. Like you could see almost like I was in a forest, and then it was just pitch black all around me. Like it was floating somewhere in the abyss. And then I was inside what it seemed a spaceship. I mean, we all watched Star Trek growing up, and things like that. Star Wars. It's gonna come to your mind. So I believe this stuff's real anyway. There's too many accounts, too many things going on. So here I am on this ship. I'm in like a cargo room. It's just black beams, big, huge metal beams, and an empty room, and it has a cargo door, which I don't know what it went to, but I'll just assume it was to the outside, maybe. Pretty scary. Very dimly lit, and there I met the guy that I met on the planet, and I asked him what his name was, and it came out in some gibberish that I couldn't even try and understand. It wasn't a human language. So I said, well, you got to come up with something different than that. You got to put it in a term that I can understand. And he says, call me Mike. These dudes have some humor. And I'm like, no. And a couple of exes, his name was Mike. I don't like it. He says, all right, how about Mitchell? I'm like, Mitchell? Where do you get this stuff? It's like going to get your nails done in these Vietnamese people that have names we can't pronounce. they give themselves American names, you know, like Joe or something. So there you go. Again, he appeared to me pale white, but looking like a human, no hair, wearing that blue mechanic's jumpsuit. So that was my experience with Mitchell. Now, so last year when I was doing all this coding repeatedly, like my hand was going to fall off. It was so much. There was a deep urgency about this. There's a lot of things out there that people are talking about. CT is a big thing. It's not a new thing. It's been going on for a very, very long time. A lot of my channeling and coding had to do with that. There's a lot going on with that subject. And I have been getting downloads for about a year regarding that subject. It's really pretty crazy. I know that there's work that I have to do as far as lifting the energy fields around these portals, energetic sites, ley lines. There's a lot of things going on around portals, and they're all around the world. They're energetic portals. I've talked about them in other videos, and you can go check those out here right on this channel. So as some time went by and I was doing more coding. So with all these codes and everything that's going on with that, there is a huge urgency. I'd love to know if any of you out there have experienced the same thing with channeling, coding, path working regarding that subject. It's finally coming to light. People are finally waking up. We're finally not believing the lies or the half-truths that we've been fed for generations about things. And it's nothing new. They're talking about it everywhere. All of these things that are coming to light, and how they present it to us is key. So that it's like a reverse psychology. Like, here, we'll give you this information, you know, and it'll quiet you down, and you can ask questions, but we're going to cover up half of it. And, you know, skim over all the important stuff and shade the world from what they don't need to know. Well, too many people are waking up now, and that's the problem. So I've had a lot of experiences. I think one of the most confusing experiences that I've had so far is when I committed myself to Odin and Freya. And I'm sure there is just like a boatload, millions of us witches that are out there that are also starseeds. And maybe you've experienced similar things. It really took me back for a couple of weeks when this happened. And this was kind of recently, like last month or so. I did my commitment, and you know, I'll do my Woden stay every Wednesday, you know, as his devotee. And I spend time with him in meditation and journeying and whatnot, and Freya and my wolves and stuff like that. So just like doing medium work when I'm calling on a loved one or someone I need to contact that's deceased, I call on that specific person, just like I do with my deities. It's not like I'm going in there like all open, like, hey, whoever wants to come join me. You know, it's not like that. I do that on purpose so that I don't bring in unwanted energy, negative energy, spirits, you know, that don't belong over here, that kind of thing. It's happened to me before, so now I'm very, 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 very careful about it. And I have been for a number of years. But this one day, I go in for my weekly meditation and my time with Odin and Freya. And I think I'm having this great experience. And it ended up being something totally different. You know, why am I not working the realms of Yggdrasil? This is what I'm supposed to be doing on my path, doing my path work. Instead, something totally different happened. Odin told me the future, which is something he doesn't normally do. He told me that my time is up. I have ran out of time. I need to get to my gardening and tea making and tinctures because we need heirloom foods and organic herbal medicine. And we need to use the seeds from which we grow to keep producing, because that's what we're going to be eating. Food prices are going to skyrocket. We already know the quality of our foods are bogus. everything is a half-truth. Every other day, an organic company is being called out for not using organic products. The list goes on and on. Do this, grow these things, because that's what you're going to be eating. We know there's a lot of changes going on right now. This is a huge earth shift, a huge frequency shift. This is cosmic, not pagan. Although our deities all came from the cosmos, from the Anunnaki. They didn't just appear one day, they were created. And then they created us, and they created other things. We are all starseeds. Our deities are starseeds. They are all very cosmic beings. They also work together in a strange way, and I discovered this. I also discovered that I had my third eye opened during my last visit with Odin and Freya. And Freya put her finger on my third eye, and it started to glow purple underneath. And she said, "You now will be able to see." And she opened my third eye, and I said, "I am open to receive." So now that I'm open to receive, I received. The messages that I got and the journeys that I went on from that point on have all been Starseed related. There's something drastic going on. I'm still trying to put my finger on. I have a purpose. Purposeful things, when you're driven and directed towards doing certain things, means that you've had a purpose here. You chose this. You chose this life as a starseed for a purpose, for a reason. My purpose is to have sustainable living for myself and my family and those around me. My purpose is to teach what I've learned so that others can do the same. My purpose is to awaken, to communicate with the cosmos, and raise the energetic level on Earth, along with many of you other starseeds out there. When walking the Seiðr path or a pagan path or whatever path, you have things you do, things that are common with that path. And I haven't been doing those things. I've been doing starseed things. And as a newbie to the path, I don't have anything to compare it to. So when it was explained to me, it all fell into place. I then went coding again, and meditation and journeying, and after being angry and not understanding and the whole nine, I got the answers I needed as to what was happening. So now that my third eye is open, whether or not I'm going in to have Woden stay, work with deities or spirits or anything, I'm opening that channel, okay? And when I open that channel, it's got layers. So I'm not just opening that one channel to Odin, I'm opening the entire universe, which is not what I do. It's not what I asked for, But now that my third eye's open, now that I can fully see, I'm getting it all. So I'm wondering if anybody else has had these experiences also. After Freya put her finger on my third eye and it lit up and I was able to see, I walked down that pathway, the dark pathway, and I was in a tunnel. I was in a black tunnel. All of a sudden, I could see a little tiny pinhole of white light way, way down the tunnel. The tunnel was black and sleek metal surrounded me. Ceilings, floors, everything. And I'm walking through and I'm getting closer to the light. My heart's racing. It's pounding. Like, I don't know what's going on. My adrenaline's flowing at a normal rate, not anything crazy. And the light becomes brighter and bigger as I get nearer. And out from the light comes these beings, similar to Mitchell. Except these had no faces. So they were pale, white in comparison, but they were naked. They did not have male or female anatomy. They had arms and legs and feet and hands and fingers and toes just like us. Their head was round like us. They were about 6 feet tall. But they did not have a face. What would be here was just blank white. That's it. They said that they've been waiting for me and that we needed to hurry up. And they took me by the arms and started walking fast. And then I woke up. Or I came to, however that is, because it wasn't a dream. So there was that. And there were more messages in that. And I'll do a separate video regarding that specific experience. Being ADHD, I lose things a lot. I think I got too much going on upstairs, and there's just not enough room for everything up there. Just saying. I will definitely make some other videos explaining my experiences. So after that, I got together with my elder, and, we talk about my weekly journeying and what messages I got or what experiences. I mean, I've briefly met with the Norns and watered, took water from the well to water the roots of Yggdrasil, doing some path working there months ago. So I'm familiar with it from what I've been taught. I didn't realize this wasn't a thing, and I was told this wasn't a thing. So now, once I discovered that these are layers, and I open up my channel, and I'm hearing everyone, I'm like, well, how am I supposed to decipher who's telling me what now? I believe that I am multitasking. I've been multitasking for many lifetimes. I'm opening up the doorway to parallel universes and vortexes and the premonitions and the feeling of urgency every time I feel a new shift coming. Something pretty crazy happened to me Tuesday, like a few days ago now. And it physically was taxing on me. Very scary. But I asked, and I was open to receive. And I think I want to tell you about that in another video. But I wanted to give you a little bit of history about where I came from, how this started happening, where I am now. I have lots of stories to share. I just didn't want to make this like uber long, which it probably is. I have my notebook, and I share a lot of things in this notebook about my experiences. And one of the things, like I said, I want to know is, are other witches experiencing the same thing? Starseed stuff. Are you getting flack from your fellow brothers and sisters about your cosmic journeys? Or are you a multitasker like I am that has already figured it out? Maybe you can enlighten me so I can understand a little bit better how to work with this. My messages are very urgent, although every time I meet, I'm continuing moving forward towards something. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why they keep telling me that I've already been here. I'm not quite sure if they meant the spaceship or where we're going. I'm gandering that it might be a little bit of both. It's very interesting. And I'm trying to work through this journey. So I would love to hear your Starseed experiences, your journeying, your astro traveling. I mean, this last experience was pretty crazy. When I meditate and journey, I can move a limb and still stay on my journey. When I'm doing, like, I'm aware that I'm laying on the couch. I'm aware I'm laying in my bed. I'm aware I'm sitting in my chair. And this last time, even though I was aware, I was frozen. I couldn't move. And what I was going through physically, honestly, was pretty scary. And I haven't been right for days since this happened. I'm feeling better today. I was trying to comprehend. I was nervous with the way that I felt. Had I journeyed further, what it would have done to me physically. So definitely stay tuned and watch that video. And check out all the other videos that we have on our channel. TOVA Norse Witch. You can check out her channel right here on YouTube. And she is a Seiðr witch, a high priestess, an elder, so many other things. And she's also a starseed. It's very interesting, and she explains a lot about how witchcraft and the cosmos intertwine a lot better than I am right now. So you might want to go and check out her videos. Check out all our videos right here on Starseed Dispatch. Let us know your experiences. If you have experiences you want to share and you want to share a video, let us know. We'd love to put your experience up there. What we're trying to do is communicate and connect. What the atmosphere and a lot of energy out there right now wants to keep us separated, keep us secluded and alone. I mean, for me, I'm kind of a loner anyway. I work well that way, but there's taking a break and there's being a total loner. And if you're a starseed and a loner, you need to connect with other starseeds. It is super important that we lift this energetic vibration, that we reach the ley lines, the portals. Physically, there are some that we cannot reach. We just can't. It's in places that humans don't go. You know, you legit need like an aircraft to drop you off in these places, and it's crazy. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't get to these places up here. Okay, in your journeying, in your workings, in your galactic travels. Okay. And I'm feeling that, you know, there's many of us that need to get together and lift that energy. There's some, I don't even know. I got 3 words going through my head right now, and it just didn't even come out. It's just terrible, horrible, traumatic experiences, energy, nasty, disgusting, evil energy coming from these portals. We together can connect and raise that vibration. It's going to take a lot, and a lot of people, beings, entities, cosmic energies that are right here on Earth don't want us to do this. They don't want us to raise the vibration. They don't want us to wake up. They want to keep us stupid, not knowing, or being kind of like, meh, whatever. Just accepting what we're being fed, physically, mentally. Don't fall for it, folks. Don't fall for it. So if anybody has any questions, you can put them down below. Yes, witches can be starseeds. And it's very important that every witch knows this and knows the history of where our deities actually came from, because they didn't just appear. And it's a great intertwined story. Do check out our videos. Go over and check out my channel, Pagan Homesteading. Go over and check out TOVA's channel, TOVA, Norse Witch. We got a lot of great content. We hope you love it. Put your experiences down here. Let us know if you want to put a video up and share your experience or do an interview with us. We'd love to have you on. We're 2 voices, but we are so much more than that. This goes way beyond Starseed Dispatch. It goes worldwide, universal. There's so many layers. It's crazy. Let's come together, share our experiences, and raise the vibration. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel get these messages out to more starseeds like you. Don't be afraid anymore. You don't need to. Thanks for joining. Until next time, stay sparkly, my friends. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Starseed messages right here on Starseed Dispatch.